Hello everybody, it's Juliet here. Have you missed me? I am coming on today because I want to show you how to make this Art Deco style pendant using materials out of the Potomac Beads treasure box for January. So if you have the treasure box, you should have these materials. Some of them I don't know if you can actually get them out with the box. So you might have to search around for some of them. So if you have your box, a lot of this came out of the Czech mix, the City Lights mix. You may have noticed that you got these 2-hole beads, and I kind of looked around to find out what they were called. And as far as I can tell, they are called slanted tiles. So they're a 2-hole tile bead, but they have an angle to them. So in my mix I had blue ones and I had black ones. I separated my mix, by the way, if you're wondering. I kind of dug through and separated everything out. So you could do this with black or you could use the blue. I kind of like the way the blue you know, is a little bit of a different color on the background. Okay, and if you happen to have some of these in your stash but you don't have the box, you can make them make this project. But this is the thing that I think you may have difficulty finding, because my internet searching didn't reveal too many places that even mention them. So okay, and then in my mix I had a bunch of these little 3mm rounds, so presumably you got those also. And I had a bunch of these kind of spacer beads that are only, I guess, 2mm wide. They're just little round flat circles, okay? And then I also had some of these beads with a ridge on them. And I measured these, and they're really kind of 5mm. They're a little bigger than a 4mm. So you could probably get away with using a 4mm fire polish in place of this. And if not, you could use a 4mm round, and you could put, because these go here and here and here and here. And there is actually a little bit of a space right here on mine where I think I could fit a 15-0. So if you only have a 4mm round, that's fine. Just put a 15-0 on each side of it and you'll be fine, okay? And then you did get a baggie of PieDuos in your box, so I'm using those. And I'm using the seed beads, the pretty silver-lined light sapphire those were, just to give a little bit of a blue tinge. This drop I found in my mix. It was the only one I had, but you guys might have more, I don't know. And what else? Oh yes, I'm going to be using the Dragonthread that came in the box. Now obviously it's white, so you should use a black one or a blue one, or you know, something other than white. I'm just using white so that it shows up better on the camera, okay? And my plan, oh, and I also, when I was separating out all my beads, I went ahead and used my little box to put them in. So you can use your little bead containers for that. Okay, what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh yes, so my plan is to actually have this PieDuo at the top, and then I'm going to probably have 2 strands, and I might put some more PieDuos kind of up my necklace. So I'll have 2 strands and they'll go back and forth between various beads. I haven't decided how I'm going to exactly do the chain yet, but I will post a picture of my finished one on my social media when I have actually finished it. Okay. All right. So that's all the materials. So let's get started. Okay. So I have about 3.5 feet of thread on my needle, about 120 centimeters, something like that. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick up a PieDuo, and we have to go first through the point. So PieDuos have 2 holes, for those who don't know. So we're going to be entering from the pointy side, okay, with our needle. And then we're going to sew back down the second hole. And it's just going to sit, the thread will just sit there, but you won't see it because it's going to be in the middle of your piece, okay? So next we're going to pick up an 11/0, one of our 3mm rounds, if I can find the hole, okay, and one more 11/0, okay? So an 11, a 3mm, and another 11. And then we're going to pick up another PieDuo from the point. Okay, so go through the pointy side, push it down to your last PieDuo, and then we're going to go around the curve again. So just go down the second hole. Okay, and then we're just going to do this again. And you're going to do this until you have 4 PieDuos and 4 sets of 11 3mm 11, okay? Okay, so once you've picked up 4 sets, so a PieDuo followed by an 11, a 3mm, and an 11, 4 times, so you should have this. And every time you've entered into the point, you've gone around the curve, and then you've come back out from the other point. It should look like this, okay? Now we're just going to tie our end and our working thread into a knot. So you can just do a square knot or a surgeon's knot or whatever your favorite type of knot is. So I'm just doing a square knot, right over left, left over right. Okay. Okay. And I'm going to leave that just for now. I'm not going to weave it in yet. I'll weave it in later. All right, so we now have a little square like this, okay? So go ahead and pass through the PieDuo from where your knot is out to the outer curved side. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pick up an 11/0. And you're going to go into, you're going to jump all the way over. So I'm coming out, this one, my next one over is going to be this one here. You're going to jump all the way over to that one there, and you're going to go through the next hole, okay? Because what we want to do is we want to flip this motif inside out. So when I pull that, you'll see that it flips like this, okay? Let me just get my tail thread out. All right, so I'm coming out from the outer hole right here, and I'm just gonna go down the next hole on the same PieDuo, and then I'm gonna pick up an 11/0. I'm going to flip this PieDuo inside, and I'm going to go through the closest hole right here, okay? And he's just going to sit right in there. Okay, you see how he's sitting in there like that? Okay, and then I'm going to go down the next PieDuo hole, the same PieDuo, I'm just going around the point there with my thread, so the thread will be showing there, that's okay. I'm going to pick up another 11, and I'm going to go through the curvy side of the next PieDuo. And then I'm going to go down one more. So I'm just turning down the next hole, picking up my last 11, and then I'm going up through the next PieDuo. And I'm going to pull that. And you may need to kind of smoosh it down. Okay, so mine's still poking up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and I'm just going to reinforce and pull a little tighter because I've got a little slack in here and I'm going to need to pull it a little tighter. So I'll do that and then I'll come back. Okay, so reinforcing that has made my piece lay flatter. If it's not completely flat, that's okay because it'll probably flatten out when we're you know, working on it. If you tie your knot slightly looser than I did, you might not even have this problem, okay? But you can see mine is laying pretty flat now. So okay, so we're coming out from our PieDuo right here, okay? I'm going to pass through the 11 and the 3 millimeter. And now we're going to pick up 2 of our slanted tiles. Now you'll notice on the slanted tiles that you could either enter from like the pointy end of the diamond, okay, so they have like this pointy end, or you could enter from the more sloped end here. I'm going to call this pointy end the outside, and this is like an inside hole to me, okay? So what we want to do is we want to pick up so that our 2 ends on this diamond like overlap each other. So we're going to go into a pointy end first. Okay, so pick up one going through the pointy end, and then we're going to go through the shallow end, okay? Or the inside end. So when you have them on your needle, they should kind of point together like this, okay? And go ahead and push those down. And then you're going to sew through the next 3 millimeter. We're going to repeat this 4 times. So again, we're going into a pointy end and then into a shallow end. And just check that they are, you know, facing each other before you sew through the next 3 millimeter. So pointy end and shallow end into the next 3 millimeter. And one more time. Pointy end and shallow end. And I'm always checking that the 2 points are dangling down and facing each other, okay? So once you've done that, you're going to want to give it a little tighten just to get any slack out of there. And it should look like this, okay? Okay, so here, in order to get really good tension, you might want to just go around again, which is what I'm going to do because I want to make sure that these are all nice and tight, and I have some loose spots. It's very difficult without reinforcing to get your tension nice and tight on this, so I'm just going to go around all those inside holes and get all that slack thread pulled tight. Okay, so now we're just going to move forward through the next tile. And we're going to turn and we're going to go into the outside hole here, okay? And so this is where you may want to get some 15-0s. If you're using like a 4mm bead, okay? So you're going to pick up a 5mm bead or a 4mm bead with two 15-0s, and you're going to sew through the next bead, the next tile. And it should be sitting right above the 3mm here, okay? So they should sit next to each other. Now you can see here I have some gaps, so I'm going to grab some 15-0s and I'm going to add that in. Okay, so I just unstrung that bead and I added some 15-0s there, and that's really helped with the right fit there. Okay, so now here we're going to pick up an 11 and then one of our little spacer beads that we have, okay, which if you look at it sideways, it's a little bit bigger than the 11, so you may be able to get away with putting an 8-0 if you don't have any little spacer beads like this, okay? And then one more 11, so 11 spacer 11, and then here at the points we're going to just sew into the next bead over. So looks like this. Okay, so everywhere there's the big gap, we're going to do a 15, a 4mm, a 15, or a 5mm if you have these beads from the mix. And then here we're doing an 11, a spacer 11. So just go ahead and repeat that all the way around until you get back over here. Okay, so once you've gone all the way around, it should look like this. And now we're going to add our embellishments on top. So I just want to show you on the other one that I made that there are two PieDuos opposite each other, and then there's two 3mm rounds opposite each other. So you have to remember to put the PieDuos and the 3mm rounds opposite each other when you're assembling, okay? All right, so we're coming out, I'm coming out right before, from the tile bead right here, right before one of my big beads, okay? So we're going to pick up three 11-0s. So three of our 11-0s, and if you look directly down from where you're coming out, there's a seed bead. So go ahead and pass through that seed bead. Okay. And it's just going to put a little line like that kind of down the side of your tile. Okay. See that? And then coming out from the seed bead, I'm going to pick up one seed bead, one of my 3mm rounds, and two more of my 11-0s. So it's an 11, a 3mm, and two 11s. And I'm going to look up, so I'm here, into this disc bead right here. Okay. So I'm just sewing straight through there. I'm not entering into the 11s. Then I'm going to pick up one more of my 11s, and I'm going to skip. So if these are the two that I just added, I'm going to skip the one at the top, and I'm going to go into the second one down plus the 3mm. And I'm not going into the seed bead that I just added down here. I'm just going through those two beads, okay? So the second 11 and the 3mm. And pull that, and it should make like a little kind of V shape like this. And then I'm going to pick up one more 11, and I'm going to progress forward into my next 11 that's down at the next corner. Okay, so it should look like this. And then here I'm just going to pick up 3 of my 11s, and I'm just going to go straight through the big guy. Okay, and I'm going to pick up 3 more and go back down from the big guy into the next 11 that's down here. Okay, so we now have this. Now I'm going to pick up one 11, and then I want my my PieDuos to be pointing inwards, so I'm going to go through the pointy end of my PieDuo. Okay, and then I'm going to pick up one more 11, and I'm just going to do the same as what I did here. I'm going to sew through the disc that's right here, and then I'm going to pick up an 11. I'm going to sew down through the other side of the PieDuo, and I'm going to pick up one more 11, and I'm going to go through that seed bead that's sitting right down there. Okay. All right, so now I'm next to the big guy, so I'm just going to pick up 3 on each side. So he's easy to deal with. So just do 3 and 3. And then here I want to repeat what I have down at the bottom. So it's 1 11, 1 3 millimeter, and 2 more 11s. And just sew through that disc at the top. Pick up 1 11, skip that first 11, and sew through the second 11 and the 3 millimeter. Okay. And then pick up 1 more 11 and sew through the next 11. And then here we are again at a big guy, so just do your 3. You might want to tighten up before you move on. Okay, so just do your 3 here, your 3 11s through the big guy. Oops. Three more 11s. And into the next. And then here again, we're going to be putting the other PieDuo. Okay, so go ahead and pick up a seed bead, and then a PieDuo going through the point. One more seed bead, go through the disc at the top. Pick up a seed bead again, go through the second hole on the PieDuo, and one more seed bead and go into the bottom, and then we just need 3 more 11-Os, and we will finish that round. Okay, so our pendant now has all the beads on. You may want to go ahead and reinforce especially the outside edge, and you may also want to reinforce your decoration by going back through and this time entering into your 15s and entering into these extra seed beads. And depending on how your beads fit, you might even want to add a third seed bead there. Get it to where it feels strong. Sewing around the outside edge helps a lot as well. And then you're ready to hang your pendant. So what I'm planning to do is I'm going to put a PieDuo up here like that, and then I showed you I'm going to put a drop down here, and then I'm going to build a chain to match it using some of my leftover beads. So anyway, I mean, this is a fairly quick and easy little project if you have these beads. So if you have some slanted tiles, then you're in luck. I don't really think there's any beads you could substitute for this, unfortunately. So I mean, you could maybe use some regular tiles, but you'd have to adjust. Yeah, it just wouldn't sit the same at all. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I hope you make this pendant if you got the Potomac box. If you didn't get the Potomac box and you want to get it in next month, then I will put the link down below where it has more information about the boxes and what different options there are, because there's 2 different boxes you can choose from. And we'll be looking at that pretty soon. I'm hoping for some kind of pinkish reddish Valentine's sort of box, but we'll see what comes. Sometimes they surprise us. I mean, they usually do seasonal, so we'll see what comes. Anyway, okay, you guys, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.